Hello, 5th grade math students. After yesterday's incredibly short lesson, I'm sorry I can't promise one as short today. However, it will be fun. This is chapter 15.3, Nets and Surface Area. We're going to find the surface area of a prism by adding the area of each of its faces. Let's go. The surface area of an object is the sum of the areas of all of its faces or surfaces. For example, this wooden box is painted red all over, and the total area that is painted red would be called the surface area of the box. How would we find the surface area of an object? This cube has edges measuring 4 centimeters each. Let's cut the box along the dotted edges and lay it flat. Now we can see the 6 square faces of the cube. The surface area of the cube is equal to the sum of the areas of the 6 square faces. Another way to say this would be that the 6 square faces form a net of the cube, and the area of the net is the surface area of the cube. Let's begin by finding the area of one square face. That's 4 times 4. So each individual face has an area of 16 centimeters squared. How many faces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll take 16 centimeters squared times 6 to find the entire surface area of our cube. That area is 96 centimeters squared. Now try this yourself. A cube has edges measuring 5 inches each. Find the surface area of the cube. The net has been created for you so that you can visualize the number of faces that you're working with. Remember, first find the area of one square face, and then multiply that by the number of faces. Now let's find the surface area of a rectangular prism. This rectangular prism is 10 inches long, 6 inches wide, and 5 inches high. How are we going to find the surface area when all of the faces are a different size? Our first step will be to create the net of the rectangular prism, so that we can find the area of the net, as the area of the net is the surface area of the prism. In this net, each pair of the opposite congruent faces in the solid are colored as shown. The top and bottom faces are this kind of orangey red. The front and back are blue, and the left and right are green. So we have 3 different congruent faces that we're working with. We have 2 rectangles that measure 10 by 6. We have 2 rectangles, the blue rectangles, that measure 10 by 5. And we have 2 rectangles, the green rectangles, that measure 5 by 6. In order to find the surface area, we simply need to calculate these areas and add them all together. Let me rewrite the work here so it's a little bit easier to see what we're doing. Okay, first let's calculate the area of the top and bottom faces. 2 times 10 is 20, times 6 is 120. So these 2 surfaces equal 120 inches squared. Next, let's calculate the area of the front and the back. 2 times 10 is 20, times 5 is 100. So these 2 faces equal 100 inches squared. Finally, the left and the right, 2 times 5 is 10, times 6 is 60. So these 2 surfaces equal 60 inches squared. Now, to finish this up, we simply add them all together. 120 plus 100 plus 60 equals the surface area of our rectangular prism, which is 280 inches squared. Now try this process on your own. Find the surface area of the prism shown. The net has been created for you so that you can more easily visualize the pairs of congruent faces. Press pause while you work, and please move on when you are ready. Now let's work to find the surface area of a triangular prism. Just as we did with the rectangular prism, Our first step will be to unfold this and look at the net. And here is our net. This is a little bit different than our rectangular prism because we only have one pair of congruent parallel figures. The other three rectangles do not have a congruent face. Okay, so let's calculate this using the same technique as we used for the rectangular prism. Let's start with the two congruent triangles. We'll begin by finding their area. That will be 2 times, because there are 2 of them, 1/2 times 3 times 4, the area of each triangle. The result, 2 times 1/2 times 3 times 4, is 12 centimeters squared. Next, let's look at this green rectangle. There's only one, so all we have to do is take the length times the height to get the area, which is 27 centimeters squared. Now let's look at the blue rectangle. Again, there's only one, so we simply need to take length times height to get 36 centimeters squared. And finally, let's look at this yellow rectangle, which has a length of 9, a width of 5, for a total of 45 centimeters squared. The surface area of our triangular prism will be the sum of these 4 numbers, which equals 120 centimeters squared. Now try working through this process on your own. Find the surface area of the triangular prism shown. The net has been created for you to help you out. And this wraps up chapter 15.3 for us, friends. When I see you tomorrow, we'll do more work with finding surface area. See you then.